Greetings Marines, Fayot here, and this vid is about breaking news concerning Alien Romulus, the upcoming movie by Fede Alvarez. I took the information from the Perfect Organism podcast. You can see the URL here. Never plagiarize anyone else's work, guys. Always let the people know what your sources are so they can cross-reference and you give credit where credit is due. So sorry for not having a cam here. I was streaming and it's like 6 in the morning here at the moment and I'm like a ghost. I don't want to show my face like this. It would only spoil the move. Let's discuss what we have in our hands now. Apparently, as you can see in this very nice piece of artwork here, Alien Romulus apparently will connect the original Alien trilogy, that is Alien, Aliens and Alien 3, and the prequel films. Those are the two movies by Ridley Scott, Prometheus and Covenant, that portray how humanity first came into contact with the engineers, how they learned about the existence of the xenomorphs, the pathogen, and all that interesting stuff. Let's touch upon this for a moment. I know many people have an issue with the prequel movies. There's a lot of viewers out there, a lot of Aliens fans who consider the prequel movies to be, well, crap. I do not agree with that sentiment, as I've said 1,000 times throughout my vids and my streams. What I think about these films is that they had a very solid idea behind them, but due to the involvement of certain hack writers, certain events, depictions, and let's say gaps in logic were present. So bad writing led to some of the events of the movie seem nonsensical. Scientists landing on an alien world, taking off their helmets. The guy who was supposed to map the interior of an alien structure being the guy who gets lost first. There's a lot of BS in Covenant and Prometheus, but that doesn't mean they're bad movies. First and foremost, they bring a whole new chapter, they bring a whole new layer to the aliens mythology. And we're not talking about someone random coming in the aliens mythos and messing it up. We're talking about Ridley Scott. We're talking about the father of the entire franchise, of the IP. Unlike Star Wars, where a couple of hotheads came in and destroyed everything with a couple of movies, here, this is where the father of the entire thing wanted to take things. And for me, it was a huge loss that we never really got to see where he was going with it. The realization of his vision for the prequels. Even if it was comics, animation, a video game, whatever, it would be great to see what happened to the race of the space jockey, the engineers, how from the pathogen and the protomorphs we came to the alien infestation of the initial planet that led to the events of the first movie, and so on and so forth. So I think this is a good way to move forward, because even if from this point on they never touch what happened in the prequels again, at least we have closure and we'll get an ending to the events. Now, if you ask me if I'm expecting Fassbender to come back as David or a direct follow-up of what happened after the credits rolled for Covenant, I don't think so. I certainly find the idea of Fassbender returning as David a bit far-fetched for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we know about the cast by now. You can find it on IMDb, and Fassbender at this point is a huge actor. If he was to appear in such a prominent role, it would have been known by now. You know, the movie is gonna be direct to stream. It's not gonna be in theaters. It will just be streamable from day one. That tells me that no matter the budget available, we're not talking about the biggest production of all time. And there have been pretty decent and expensive movies direct to stream, but if you're gonna employ someone like Fassbender, you want the star power out there to show it to people. You want to present it to the big screen. You wanna, sell tickets, fill the seats. There is the off chance that he could make a cameo appearance, not unlike Olivia Wilde in, let's say, the latest Ghostbusters movie, where she was uncredited and she just appeared out of nowhere by the end, and we were all like, what the hell is happening here? But even if David is not involved and we're talking about sometime after the events of Covenant and there's some tie-in incident, it's still a good fit for a movie that's gonna go directly to stream, is a gambit, and has a really good director at the wheel, because Fede Alvarez does not shy away from gore, violence, raw material. He's the guy who directed the 2013 Evil Dead movie, so I don't think he's gonna cut corners here, either with the maturity of the content or the depictions. Now, some people might be frustrated or horrified by the prospect of touching the prequel trilogy, but guys, we have seen far worse, and surely you can appreciate that Prometheus and Covenant had their moments, and even if you didn't like how they were written, you must have appreciated the cinematography, which was excellent, the photography, the sound design, the soundtrack, the overall aesthetics. Returnal, one of my favorite games of all time, took a cue from how Prometheus looked and created gorgeous environments and environmental effects. So there is some merit to what they're doing. For me, if it's done correctly, it's gonna be a dream come true, because I don't like leaving things in the middle, especially when we're talking about franchises that are going nowhere. It's not like we're gonna stop having Aliens films or literature or comics or whatever. It was looming in the back of my skull for all these years, like, what the hell is gonna happen with those loose ends? How are we gonna know what happened? They cannot just scrap it all away and say that never happened, we never made these movies. It was fictional. So grabbing what's already there and finalizing it, optimizing it, and presenting a complete vision, for me is gonna honor both Ridley Scott, since he was the initiator of all this, and the entirety of the concept as a whole. I'd really like to hear your opinions on this. We're waiting for Dark Descent, we're waiting for some kind of reveal of the first-person Aliens game that's coming our way real soon, so let's have a discussion. Just please keep it civil, because I know, as I said, that there is negative sentiment about the prequels, but as Ridley Scott himself said, there's only so much you can do with an IP, and then you just use the name to franchise, and you have to mix it up and bring in new elements. I don't think he ever meant to estrange his audience, the people that loved Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and everything when it comes to the Aliens mythology. But he had some ideas, he brought them forth in a specific way, and the disappointment mostly stems from the fact that there was not enough xenomorph presence in those movies. If they can bring a better balance here and bridge the things that came before with what's gonna come after, I think we will have a very interesting movie in our hands. As always, been fired, guys. As soon as I learn anything aliens related, I'm always coming to you with the news, so sub, like, share, hit the notification bell, and until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!